Okay, in this reading, you're talking or looking at conserving land and soil. How do people use land, and why is soil management important? Two key questions. You should be writing those into your notes. My Planet Diary, we're going to skip for today. You can read that on your own. So, how do people use land? Less than a quarter of Earth's surface is dry, ice-free land. That's not very much, guys. It's 25%. So 75% of the Earth's surface is either wet or it's got some form of ice on it that cannot be used for farming or any other thing. All people on Earth must share this limited amount of land to produce their food, build shelter, and obtain resources. As American author Mark Twain once said about the land, they don't make it anymore. People use land in many ways. Three uses that change the land are agriculture, mining, and development. Agriculture. Land provides most of the food that people eat. Crops such as wheat requires lots of fertile land, but less than a third of Earth's land can be farmed. The rest is too dry, too salty, too mountainous. New farmland is created by clearing forests, draining wetlands, and irrigating deserts. Land can also be used to grow crops for animals, to provide grazing for livestock, or to grow crops such as cotton. Mining. Mining is the removal of non-renewable resources from the land. Resources just below the surface are strip mined. Strip mining removes a strip of land to obtain minerals. The strip is then replaced. Strip mining exposes soil, which can be blown or washed away. The area may remain barren for years. Resources can also be removed from deeper underground by digging tunnels to bring the minerals to the surface. Development. People settled in areas that had good soil near fresh water. As populations grew, the settlements became towns and cities. People developed the land by constructing, building roads. In the United States, an area half the size of New Jersey is developed each year. So you see examples here. Agriculture, strip mining, and development. Why is soil management important? To understand why soil management is important, you need to know about the structure and function of fertile soil. It can take hundreds of years to form just a few centimeters of new soil. Let me read that again. It can take hundreds of years to form just a few centimeters of new soil. Soil contains the minerals and nutrients that plants need to grow. Soil can absorb, store, and filter water. Bacteria, fungi, and other organisms in soil break down to waste and remains of living things, decomposers. That's what the bacteria and fungi are. So here we go. Topsoil. Soil horizon A is a mixture of rock fragments, nutrients, water, and decaying animal and plant matter. The water and nutrients are absorbed by plant roots in this layer. Here we go. You have litter. That's soil horizon O, which you do not need to know. But litter is the top layer of dead leaves and grass. Subsoil, soil horizon B, is below the topsoil. The subsoil also contains rock fragments, water, and air, but less animal and plant matter than the topsoil. Here's soil horizon C, or parent material. Bedrock. Here we go, bedrock. All soil begins as bedrock, the rock that makes up Earth's crust. What? Let me read this again. All soil begins as bedrock, the rock that makes up Earth's crust. All right, so you're sitting in class, you're listening to me read this awesome reading about conserving land, and I just want to make sure you're awake, make sure you're paying attention, and that you're understanding things. So, here's what I want you to do. Pat your head 3 times. Yeah, I'm serious. Pat your head 3 times. Not kidding. I want to know that you're paying attention, that you're listening to me ramble on. So go ahead, pat it 3 times. Yeah, you, pat it 3 times. All right. Good job. Natural processes such as freezing and thawing gradually break apart the bedrock. Plant roots wedge between the rocks and break them into smaller pieces. Acids in rainwater and chemicals released by organisms slowly break the rock into smaller particles. Animals such as earthworms and moles help grind rock into even smaller particles. As dead organisms break down, the remains also contribute to the mixture. Soil use problems. Because rich topsoil takes so long to form, it's important to protect our soil. Key question answered here. Without soil, most life on Earth, on land, cannot exist. Poor soil management can result in 3 problems. erosion, nutrient depletion, and desertification. Fortunately, damaged soil can sometimes be restored. Erosion. Normally, plant roots hold soil in place, but when plants are removed during logging, mining, or farming, the soil is exposed and soil particles can easily move. Process by which water, wind, or ice moves particles of rock or soil is called erosion. Terracing, one farming method that helps reduce erosion, is shown in Figure 3. So this is terracing here. Nutrient depletion. Plants make their own food through photosynthesis. Plants also need nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus found in soil to grow. Decomposers supply these nutrients to the soil as they break apart or break down the waste and remains of organisms. But if a farmer plants the same crops in a field every year, the crops may use more nutrients than the decomposers can supply. Soil becomes less fertile, a situation called nutrient depletion. When soil becomes depleted, farmers usually apply fertilizers, which include nutrients that help crops grow better. Farmers may choose other methods of soil management too. They may periodically have fields unplanted. The unused parts of crops, such as corn stalks, can be left in the fields to decompose, adding nutrients to the soil. Farmers can also alternate crops that may use many nutrients with crops that use fewer nutrients. Desertification. If the soil in a once fertile area becomes depleted, if the soil in a once fertile area becomes depleted of moisture and nutrients, the area can become a desert. The advance of desert-like conditions into the areas that previously were fertile is called desertification. One cause of desertification is climate. For example, a drought is a period when less rain than normal falls in an area. During droughts, crops fail. Without plant cover, the exposed soil easily blows away. This is what happened during the Dust Bowl. Overgrazing grassland by cattle and sheep and cutting down trees for firewood can also cause desertification. Desertification is a serious problem. People cannot grow crops and graze livestock where desertification has occurred. As a result, people may face famine and starvation. Desertification in Africa, millions of rural people there are moving to the cities because they can no longer support themselves on the land. There you can see the different deserts. Existing deserts, these are areas that are high risk, and the areas in red are moderate risk. Reclamation. Fortunately, it is possible to replace land damaged by erosion or mining. The process of restoring an area of land to a more productive state is called land reclamation. In addition to restoring land for agriculture, land reclamation can restore habitats for wildlife. Many different types of land reclamation projects are currently underway all over the world, but it is generally more difficult and expensive to restore damaged land and soil than it is to protect those resources in the first place. In some cases, the land may not return to its original state. All right. So this concludes the Conserving Land and Soil. Show me that you are done, that you understood, and you thought this reading was just absolutely amazing. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, seriously, give me a thumbs up. Have a great day.